Hey guys, welcome to a brand new video on our channel Nash and Tereza, and today we're going to be telling you the process of how to buy a house in the Czech Republic.
We're going to speak from perspective of someone who doesn't have the full cash for the whole house when you need to take a mortgage. Step number 1, you need to find a good financial advisor. It's good to look at references to help you look at what are your options financially, to look at your income, your spending, so you know exactly which window you fit for and what type of houses you need to look for.
Yeah, because houses in Czech Republic are super expensive. Take for example in Prague, if you want to live within the Prague district, family house is going to cost 10 to 20 million Czech crown, which is equivalent to 500,000 US dollars to 1 million US dollars. And they don't even look that good. So when you look, you need to know that you're going to actually qualify for the house you're going to buy.
Yes, also financial advisor knows what the banks look for. In case you don't qualify, they can also prepare you to qualify maybe in 6 months or 1 year. It's a good tip to find one. Finance advisor services are for free. They are paid from commission from the deal which they close in the bank. It's in their concern that they succeed, and they also find you a good deal, because then they are paid slowly. You should be able to pay off the debts, otherwise they wouldn't get the money then. So that's a very great relationship.
Yeah, they're paid I think in the sometimes on the term of the fixation period, so that can be like a year or 2 or 3 years to get all their money. They really need to make sure that you can afford, because if you default on the loan, that means they have to give back all the money they earned. So they really want you to get through. Yeah, and in this process of finding a financial advisor, we found that the housing market is super competitive. So you can actually use websites like S-Reality, Century 21 or Remax. There's a lot of agencies, and we really recommend that you work through an agency because it's super complicated, competitive, and it's just so difficult. Once you go to the website, you find a house which you like, you need to obviously ring up. Sometimes the process is going to take you about 2 months to 6 months to find a place you like, because things are expensive and they don't really look that great.
Also, you need to be careful what type of house it is, if it is in a private ownership or if it's a cooperative ownership. If it's cooperative one, you will not really fully own the house, but there will be years to come until you are the right owner, and sometimes the cooperative doesn't even allow you to fully own the house. It's recommended to really go more for houses which are private owned, and they are more expensive.
Yeah, they are. I think the cooperative thing is more found in flats, because you have like the whole big building.
Yes.
And it's sort of like a group of people who are working together to own the place. So that means it's gonna be a bit of like voting and arguments if they were planning to do something on the flat to reach an agreement. So it's a bit challenging when you get that place.
So let's say you found a house you fell in love with, you went for the viewing and you decided you want to take that house. It's within your budget, financial advisor says go ahead for it. I must say that it takes really short time for you to decide, because normally even real estate agents, they give you 2 to 3 days maximum in Prague at least. It's really a lot of pressure. There is actually very common that you have to decide the same day or on the same visit. There is even cases where you have more viewers at the same time. It's in a form of auction, and they actually bid over each other so they can get the flat. Be ready to be super decisive. Make sure you do all your research before you actually go to that place. So it's good to write down what you're really looking for and what you want to check in the flat, because once you're in the viewing, it's actually super confusing. The pressure is on. You might actually skip things which you would normally look at in the house. So let's say you chose the house you love, there is a reservation fee.
Yeah, so this reservation fee is about 5% of the whole property value, and this actually goes as part of the down payment of the house. And when you pay this fee, it normally covers the fee of the reality agent guy, and it also covers their legal fees and everything to process the house. So it is quite a lot of money to put in, but when you put in that money, you need to be sure that you're going to be approved for a mortgage, because if you don't go through in the mortgage, that means that you're going to lose that money. When you go in, you need to make sure that you qualify. This is so important, and that before you send any money, that you're able to buy the house.
Honestly, right now the situation is so crazy that sometimes you don't even think this house will be sold. The state of the house, they don't even put final touches.
Yeah, they're like,
next month it's sold for a ridiculous amount of money.
Yeah, they say here's a pile of bricks.
Just put a carpet and
live under the bricks. So once you finish reserving the house, the next point is actually applying for the mortgage. So this is more of the difficult part and the complicated part of the whole process. To kick this off, your financial advisor is going to give you a form from different banks where you want to apply. In this form, it's standard across all banks because it's offered by the Czech National Bank. There's no changes on it. It's maybe different logos from the different banks, but it's the same form. It shows what's your income, if you're employed, if you're in a notice period or probation period. In this way, the bank knows that you qualify for the loan. They can see how much money you're earning, if you're actually gonna afford the mortgage payments. And the other thing which they're gonna ask you for is for your residency card, for your passports. And the other thing which they're gonna ask also is confirmation of debts, if you owe money from other companies where you're paying, because that means you're not gonna be able to afford your monthly mortgage. And the final thing is they're gonna look at the bank statements for the last 3 months to make sure that there's no outgoing money which you owe other people.
When you have like a small loans, it's good to clear them up first because this might be actually a showstopper. So dealing with the mortgage, you have two options in Czech Republic. They can either give you a mortgage for 80% of the price of the house and you have to pay the 20% rest, or more like 15% because you already paid 5% for your reservation fee, or you get option for 90% of the price of the house. However, it has a not so great interest in terms of paying it off, and also there's much more strict guidelines before they approve you for the mortgage. You can calculate what you want to go for and obviously what are your options when it comes to money savings you managed to save.
Yeah, the only thing which changed so that you can actually get the 10% is that there was COVID. Before COVID, it was flat out 20%.
Yes.
But after COVID, that means it was reduced to 10% to allow people to buy houses during this time.
So bank receives your application and they check if you can be pre-approved for the mortgage. So once you have checked, they send a property surveyor who will check the property. He will see if the price actually matches the value of the property when it comes to neighborhood, when it comes to market and state of the house. If they do estimate same price, which is sometimes very stressful because if they undervalue the house, then bank will not give you the full price or the 80%, but maybe 70% of the house, which is a problem for you. You really want this to go well. Once they do evaluate your house, they do proceed with the approval and actual signing of contract of the mortgage.
So if you fail to make up the difference, that means you're actually gonna lose the property. That means you lose your reservation fee which you paid. It's actually quite risky because of how things are overpriced. Yeah, someone can just wake up and want to price a house a certain way. That's just not gonna work with the bank, and then you're now in a mess.
Once your mortgage is approved,
yay!
Then you move to our next step, which is signing of contract of the house, the purchase contract. You receive it from a real estater. The key thing about it is date and deadline and account numbers where you need to send the money, the house. You will do first 5 or 15%. After that, payment of the house will be released from the bank. So it's a very important document. I recommend that you maybe hire a lawyer to check if everything is correct, because based on this contract, once you sign it, everything will go based on that. There is also a described process of how you're gonna get the property, when you're gonna do the sign off of energies, and there is a very important step, register of ownership. That's one whole chapter.
Yeah, before we go to that point, the other thing is once you sign all the documents, you need to actually do it at a company which is called Checkpoint. This is like a legal entity where everyone signs with their IDs to make sure that it's really you who's signing it. You get one copy for yourself, one for the bank, and one for the previous owner. You need to upload the one for the bank to their website portal. Through that's when they are gonna release the money as well. So the thing which Tereza hinted on was the changing of ownerships. And this one actually takes more time than you would think.
Yes, that's a real bump in the road. It might surprise you because register has to do 2 different steps. Because when you take a mortgage, you're not the owner, but bank is the owner. So first step is change the pledge on the house. So one bank basically gives up the right and the other bank takes over. Great thing if you have a real estater, because many times they do that for you, which is a lot of paperwork. They bring it to the office, and then from that date they have actually 20 days where they cannot touch it, and that's a period of time where owner of the house can take back the process if they have a valid reason. After that, they look at the paperwork and they have another 10 days to work on it. So let's count with 30 days just to change a pledge on the house. So once that's changed, then you pay the money for the house. First you pay the 10%. Once that is in the bank, you get a confirmation that the notary has the money. Then you send the confirmation to your bank and bank releases the mortgage. After that, again, your real estater goes with the paperwork to the register. Again, 20 days they can touch it, and another 10 days they actually have a period for working on it.
So once everything is changed in terms of ownership, on the, is it a website where they put your name on this property?
The register, yeah.
Yeah, the real estate has 10 days to give you the keys. Once you agree on a moving date, you're gonna come, they're gonna give you a handover protocol that you're gonna check the house that it's in the same condition, that nothing has changed or it's not broken down. You're gonna be checking the meters and handing over the electricity and the water and everything.
Normally it's gas, electricity and water, and they usually do the transfer within the first month of you living there.
So that's all about moving in. So the next part is about extra costs, which are sort of on the side, which you need to keep in mind. So the first one to cover is insurance. Sometimes you need to have a house with insurance when you lose your job or when you get sick or death, or if there's some disaster to some extent. It can also be, to some extent, if you pay more money, it can be covered as part of that deal. The other fees of changing of the registers, and then you have also the fees of notaries that can easily accumulate to some thousands of crowns. It's like $30, $40. There's also some fees once you actually move into the house. How to maintain fireplace, bins, buying bins, like people to take bins away.
If you have a boiler, you have to get the check.
And then the other one, which is actually quite a big one, but it's not running at the moment because of the COVID situation, is the property tax. So it's super huge. I think it was 4% of the property value.
Yeah.
And the government will just ask for that after the deal is done. And most people don't know about it when they're going in, and I don't know if it's going to be reintroduced after COVID.
Most probably yes.
And in terms of the payments to the bank for your mortgage, most likely gonna have like the interest and the actual mortgage principal put together, and they'll be taking that each month. And I have one big question for you, Tereza. Can a non-Czech speaker go through the process?
Oh yeah, sure, because normally you can either have agency which completely represents you through the process, or finance advisor who can actually do most of the stuff for you.
And hopefully they can translate the documents.
There is a lot of English translators. There's websites as well where they offer services of actually translate legal documents for you.
It's probably extra fee, which you also need to keep in mind. And then the last question is, can a non-Czech citizen or a non-permanent residency person get a house? Is it possible in Czech?
Yes.
Those were scripted.
I think so. I think you need to be temporary resident in Czech Republic, and you obviously need to provide a history of your work, so they know that you've been working here and lived here some time and that you have a job.
So I hope you enjoyed this video, you found it super informative. If you have some questions, let us know in comments, and others you can feel free to respond if you have the answers, and we'll also try to respond. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you leave us a like, comment, and subscribe, and we're gonna see you in the next video.
Okay, bye.
Ciao.